And joining us right now is Giorgio, a member of Floriani, a men's vocal ensemble dedicated to serving the church and saving the culture through the beauty of sacred music. Giorgio, thank you so much for being with us.
How you doing, Renee?
Good, how are you? Long time no see.
Good. Yeah, you as well.
Well, thank you for being here with us. Again, I'm joined with Jay, and we're just very grateful that you get to be here today to just tell us a little bit more about Floriani. And to start, can you just give us the background of how this group was formed?
Sure. I went to Thomas Aquinas College in Southern California, which is a Catholic liberal arts school, and along with my three members, Joe, Tom, and Graham. And we were all musicians there at different times, and our group actually began more as a barbershop group, and so we would sing for different events, different parties, and then one of the priests on campus actually asked me if we would be willing to sing for a mass, and I was familiar with Gregorian chant. I was familiar with the structure of the mass, and so we began singing sacred music for Mass, and eventually we grew to really just enjoying doing that, and not just enjoying it, but we were being transformed by this really spectacular tradition of the church. And so as we were growing in this singing for Mass, certain projects started coming up. So, for example, we did a pilgrimage to Rome where we sang in all the major basilicas. We sang in the Vatican. The discussion started propping up of whether or not we could do this for a life, and so during the COVID pandemic, the discussion actually became more serious, and so me and the three other members, Joe, Graham, and Thomas, and we were discussing whether or not we could actually get this started. And so we decided, well, let's leave everything behind and let's see if the Holy Spirit really wants this to happen. And so certain things started falling into place, and we all moved down to Phoenix, where we took on this mission with full force. And it's been growing ever since. And so we're really excited for what the future holds, what God has really brought into our lives.
Yeah, I have to tell you, Giorgio, I really didn't have much of an idea what we were going to talk about today. I was just blown away by what I just saw. It was beautiful, first off. So I'm so glad that you guys decided to continue with it, because it is moving to listen to it. There's a revival that is sweeping the church as we speak. Can you tell us a little bit about how sacred music is aiding in this way? Because I know personally, just listening to that, I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, so Vatican II in Sacrosanctum Concilium, it mentions that the sacred music is of inestimable value as an art, and greater than that of any other art in the church. Greater than that of architecture, sacred art, and that's a really bold and huge claim by Vatican II. And I think the reason for that is actually Pope Pius XII talks about how much more music is intimately tied to the liturgical action, and that's in his document Musica Sacrae. And because that's the case, music is this super powerful medium of bringing heaven to earth. And so does that kind of answer your question?
It does.
And even there is a newfound love for people, especially our age, Giorgio, of getting back into the Latin Mass. So what do you think is drawing people to either that high form of the Mass or even the Latin hymns that we hear sung and chanted so beautifully with your group?
That's a great question. I think we live in a culture throughout the world where things are unstable, things are changing constantly, and I think as our generation particularly, we don't feel rooted anywhere. And when we attend the traditional liturgies, whether it's Eastern liturgies or it's the traditional liturgies of the Roman Rite, we feel very grounded and connected to the past. We connect to our traditions, our ancestors, the way they worshipped, and so being connected with these liturgies is a way of being grounded, not only in the truth, but in truth, goodness, and beauty.
Well, unfortunately, Giorgio, we are out of time. Can you tell people how they can learn more about your work?
Great. Yeah, you can find us at Floriani.org. We have an Instagram handle, Floriani Sacred Music, and we also have a chant school podcast where you can learn Gregorian chant. It's called the Chant School Podcast on Spotify and Apple.
Wonderful.
Well, I am very, very impressed, and I'm not easily impressed, but you impressed me today. Giorgio, thanks so much for being on.
Thank you, Giorgio.
Have a great day.